Thank you, Sean. Thank you for everyone at Icon Coaching.
Simon, congratulations, man. You know what that is?
That's winning.
It's winning, baby. I love it when you're winning. That's fantastic.
I got 2 under contract, so that's like 2.8 million in 2 weeks.
You've got to take control of your production to make sure that you're making more money, your bank account balance is rising, that your net worth is increasing, and that's what we want to see happen.
So that they can save the listing.
Which I'm really, really thankful for, Sean. Thank you.
See everyone coming on board. Welcome to Icon Coaching's webinar. All right. Well, hello, everybody. Hey, my name is Rob Daniel, and I am the CEO of Icon Coaching. And I want to introduce really not our guest, our founder, of Icon Coaching. Many of you probably know him. You've seen him on the webinars. You've seen him all over the country, all over the world, everywhere. I want to just introduce our founder of Icon Coaching, Shon Kokoszka. And if you take a look at the screen, you can see some of the things that I'm going to be talking about. Listen to this, sold over 4,000 homes, okay? Now, before I begin, I've got to do a test, okay, to everyone that is listening to me right now. We got to know that some of you are here, okay? Because this is the first time that we've ever done it this way on Zoom. We usually have everybody on here. If you could just put over there in the chat where you're from, that will let me know that you're here while I'm talking to you. So throw it over there. Where are you from? Okay, there. Well, I see Sean. I'm waiting for some other people. Okay, there. Woo, man, that made me nervous. Okay, there we go. There we go. Now. Got people in Canada, South Carolina, Maryland, Orlando. Sean has sold over 4,000 homes, ladies and gentlemen. That's over $1 billion in volume. Have you done that yet? Okay. Founder of all kind of companies, mortgage, title, land development, home builder. I mean, this guy has done it all. And here's the nice part about it for all of you that are with Keller Williams that are joining us. You might know him he's the former president of KW Maps Coaching. He has absolutely coached some of the top real estate agents in the world. People like a Mark Spain that does 8,000 to 10,000 transactions a year, and those type of people. Former president of Maps Business Training. He's actually consulted McDonald's, Panasonic, FedEx, GMC, Pepsi. My gosh. Man, if we cannot learn from him, we cannot learn from anyone. So I'm so excited to give you, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for being here, Sean. Give it up for Shon Kokoszka.
Rob, thank you so much, brother. Man, I almost stopped you halfway through because it felt like you were reading my eulogy. I'm telling you, guys, I'm just here to add value to you. I'm here for you. Each one of you showed up for a specific reason, and there are no coincidences. The reason you're here is because you're here to learn something that's undoubtedly going to dramatically improve your clarity, which is going to lead to greater actions and bigger and better results. I mean, we all want to do more. We want to be more. We want to have more. At the same time, I want you to recognize, gang, I have a great deal of respect for your investment of time, and I don't take that lightly. In fact, I've only got 2 specific goals for our time together. Number 1, I want to teach you how to aggressively convert leads. I'm talking about the what to say, the how to say it, how to handle, overcome objections, your closing strategy. How do you get people to say yes to what you have to offer? Now, at the same time, guys, in real estate, think about this. We don't sell houses, do we? If you think you do, you're wrong. What you do is you sell yourself. And each one of us, whether you care to admit this or not, you are a salesperson. No, Sean, I'm a consultant. I agree. You're selling yourself. Once you've sold yourself, then you become a consultant. Can we agree on that? That you are selling yourself. I'm going to teach you today specifically how to sell yourself with benefits that are attached to the prospect such that they want to engage you as a client. So my first goal again is to teach you conversion. And I don't care if you've been doing this for 35 years or 3 months. Either way, both of you are going to learn something dramatic today that is going to shape your career for the next decade. Okay, now, beyond that, my second goal is to teach you how to get buyers to enthusiastically sign a buyer agency contract. Okay? Enthusiastically sign a buyer agency contract. So we're going to get into both of those categories. And thank you, Rob, again for the introduction. Rob is an amazing individual, CEO of Icon Coaching. Guys, he's got a program called Listing Machine that you can take an additional 2 listings a month by simply engaging with Rob for an hour a week. Simple as that. Now, there are 7 steps, though, to converting leads. So let's just dive in. I want meat per minute, guys. I want you to walk away from this webinar with actionable strategies and tactics that you can implement and deploy right now in your business. Like, there are some speakers out there, some trainers in real estate who I love listening to them. I finished their presentation. Man, I feel inspired. I feel good. And yet I also think, well, what did I actually learn? And motivation is great, yet it's short-lived. What I want to do is something a little bit different than most trainers do. I want you to actually have the actionable strategies. I want you to know exactly what you're going to do when you're done with this webinar. You don't have to pay me money to get this free information, and that's what it's all about. It's to improve your ability to sell more real estate, to provide for yourself, your loved ones at the highest level possible. So let's talk about lead conversion. Now it's going to start, there's 7 steps, and I'm going to get through this quickly. I can talk about this for the next 5 hours. You don't want me to. So I'm going to go very, very fast. 7 steps. It starts with an alternative choice question. I think alternative choice is kind of hard to say no to. And this alternative choice question is going to eliminate a lot of the wishy-washy BS responses you get from buyer prospects. They say things like, oh, yeah, I'm just curious. Oh, we're just looking. Right, where do you go with that? So rather to curb that, I'm going to encourage you when placing a follow-up call, I don't care if it's a open house lead from last weekend, if you door knocked and the person said, yeah, I'm thinking about selling in the next 12 months. Anytime you place a follow-up call, here's how I want you to start it, okay? And it's really simple. You might want to write this down or grab your phone, take a picture of this, because if you start the call like this, you're starting on the right foot. Now, we never get a second chance to make a first impression. There's no doubt about that. And when you know what to say, you know how to say it, it improves your competence, leads to a higher level of confidence, and it dramatically impacts your mindset, guys. Now, mindset is 95% of your success in this industry. When you are confident, they want to work with you. They're looking for confident people to buy and sell with, no doubt about that. So I'll just demonstrate real quick. Hey, this is Shon Kokoszka with eXp Realty. Thank you so much for taking my call. Hey, I'm calling to update my files. See if you're still in the market to buy a home or are you looking to rent? Okay, let's agree that anybody in the market to buy a home, they are flat out just going to reject the notion of renting. They despise the thought of renting. They want to buy, so they're going to give you the answer that you want to hear, which is, yes, I'm looking to buy a home. Fantastic. Step number 1, already checked that box. We've qualified ever so slightly. We're going to circle back around. We're going to qualify very deeply, though, later. And here's the rest of the 7 steps. So I say, yeah, I'm in the market to buy a home. That's fantastic. Tell me, what price range are you comfortable with? Oh, between 2 and 3 million. Love it. I've just logged into the multiple listing service. In a matter of moments, I'll tell you exactly how many properties match your specific and unique search criteria. So tell me, how many bedrooms do you need? How many bathrooms? Step 3, build rapport based on their needs and their why. Now, if they say they need 5 bedrooms, well, that's fantastic. Tell me, why is that important to you? See, logic makes them think, yet emotion makes them act. And the why is question is probably one of the most powerful questions in sales and relationship building that you could possibly use. Why is that important to you? What is that going to do for you and your family when you accomplish that? That's fantastic. And by the way, in step 3, you know the questions to ask. I mean, do you need a formal dining room, a 5-piece master suite? Tell me about the lot size. Do you want a large lot, small lot? Are you looking for acreage? Do you need a pool? You know the questions. Yet you're doing this search for them live on MLS. So step number 4 happens automatically. You position yourself to possess something that the prospect wants. After you've input their criteria, you recognize that there are 9 listings that match their specific and customized unique search criteria. Now it's time to close for an appointment. Now I want to share with you a closing strategy. It's not part of my slide deck today, yet I just want you to write this down. This is going to bring you hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, over the course of your career. And it is so simple. Now, this is one of the actionable strategies that I'm talking about that you could use immediately after today's webinar. I
Hey,
call
Shon,
it the
can I
ABCs.
Can I interrupt you just one moment? Are you thinking you're sharing your screen?
Oh, shoot. Thank you. Did it not happen?
You're welcome. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're
brother.
not sharing.
Thank you, brother.
Okay.
All right, gang. This should be a little bit better, easier for you to follow along and write down. Can you see it now? Rob, please tell me you can see it now.
Yes, certainly can.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so here's the 7 steps, guys. Write them down. We're at step 5, close for the appointment. Now, ABCs of selling is nothing cheesy like we've all been taught in the past, like always be closing. That is BS. It doesn't do a realtor any good. They throw that out the window. It doesn't do you any bit of good. Next, the new ABCs of selling, it stands for this: action, benefit, commitment. Action. What do you want them to do? What do you want them to do? And in our example, what we want to do is set an appointment. Now, gang, anytime I ask you to do something, and I mean anything, there's a question that appears within your mind. Am I right? What do you suppose that question is? Oh, yeah, that's what's in it for me. Or why should I do that? So after outlining the action we want them to take, we immediately segue into the benefit. In essence, we say, here's why you should say yes. Here's what's in it for you. And then we're going to very easily transition right into the commitment. And I encourage you to go back to alternative choice. It's really hard to say no to that, isn't it? So tell me, what works best for you? Is it weekdays or weekends? Again, it's not part of my slide deck. By the way, those of you who have engaged in our accelerated breakthrough program, which is 16 weeks of coaching for just $347, those of you who have been through that program, you understand the ABCs. You understand how to close for the appointments, how to ask for what you want to get more of what you want when you want it. Guys, ABC, it's really that simple. Let me demonstrate. Hey, Rob, all we need to do now, buddy, is simply set an appointment to meet on a Zoom meeting. I'm going to download all the photos, the virtual tours, the drone footage, the floor plans of every listing that matches your criteria. See, Rob, that way you can view them on screen. Give me your feedback before wasting your time or gas on driving by them. Plus, Rob, I want to share with you several negotiating strategies that will help you get the best price on the property that you buy. And finally, I'm going to share a list of off-market options to where you can buy your home without any competition whatsoever. So tell me, when's the best time that you and I should get together? Is it mornings or afternoons? And I trust that you guys can follow that very simple strategy. Action. What do you want them to do? In my case, I wanted to set an appointment to meet on a Zoom meeting. The benefit, now there were 3 major benefits. Save time and gas because you get to view the listings on screen. I recognize that's what you want, so I want to give it to you. Second, you want the best deal on the property you're going to buy. I get that. So the benefit is I'm going to share with you several proven negotiating strategies to help you get the best price on the home that you buy. The third benefit, and finally, I'm going to share a list of off-market opportunities for you so that ideally you can buy your home without any competition whatsoever. Now we're going to segue right into the trend to the close, the alternative choice close. So tell me, when is the best time for you and I to get together on Zoom? Is it weekdays or weekends? And by the way, there are 3 powerful words that I want to hone in on here. And it's right at the point where you go to the commitment, and it's 3 words. It's so tell me. Guys, so many agents, and trust me, I've called my competition. I've heard what you guys have to say. I've learned the mistakes. I've learned the successes by just interviewing my competition, right? They say things like this. Well, would you like to get together? Guys, that's a yes or no question. It doesn't work. The prospect's like, well, no, why should I do that? No, they're going to object. They're going to ghost you in essence, right? So ABCs. Now, at this point, once you ask for what you want, they might object. And step number 6 is to handle the objections. Now, there are 9 common buyer objections. Again, that is all part of step 3 of our Accelerated Breakthrough program. It's 4 months of coaching. It's step 3. We go deep into the 9 common buyer objections. There are things like, well, let me talk with my wife and I'll call you back. Are they going to call you back? Hell no, they're not going to call you back. Or can you just meet me at the property? I don't have time to meet first. High class objection to get. Yet if you just meet them at the property, their focus and attention is on the property and not you. Really hard to get a signed buyer agency contract if you're just running out the door to meet up at somebody else's house. Y'all with me on that? Yet there are 9 common objections, and there are 4 steps to handling any objection that you get. I want you to write this down, gang. This is going to bring you thousands of dollars in commissions, no doubt. Step number 1 is to acknowledge the objection. Just acknowledge it. It can be something as simple as, I totally understand where you're coming from. I get that you'd want to meet with your wife before maybe setting an appointment with me. I totally get it. Just acknowledge it. Agree with them. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. See, they'll never be open to hearing what you have to say until they know that they've been heard. Until they know that they have been heard. So acknowledge the objection. The next step is to isolate the objection. Other than blank, is there any other reason you would set an appointment to meet with me today? Simple as that. Other than blank, is there any other reason you wouldn't blank today? See, once they say, nope, that's the only reason, what they've done is they back themselves into a corner. It would be awkward. It would be weird for them to object again because they said, no, that's the only reason. Now, if we fail to isolate an objection, gang, what is on the heels of the previous objection? Well, that's right. Another objection, right? So by isolating the objection, you can now handle the objection. That's step number 3. Just handle the objection however you choose to. I've got it fully transcribed. It's all part of your syllabus and the workbooks associated with Accelerated Breakthrough, completely transcribed, right? Yet let's talk about the most common objection you're going to hear. Let me talk with my significant other and I'll call you back. How many of you guys have heard that before? You say, well, that's fantastic. Yeah. By the way, when you call back in, be sure to ask for me. My name is Shon. Bye. Or here, let me give you my direct cell phone number. You can call me here. Do they ever call you back? No, they don't. Now, you cannot lose what you don't possess. So here's my input. Go for it. Just go for it. So they say, well, let me talk with my husband. I'll call you back. Please recognize, here's what they're doing, guys. They're playing good guy, bad guy, aren't they? Oh, I'm the good guy. It's my husband. It's my wife. It's my significant other. It's my partner who's the bad guy. Y'all with me? So we're going to leverage that psychology, if you will. We say, okay, well, I totally understand that you might want to speak with your husband before you might want to set an appointment with me. Yet let me quickly ask, other than just speaking with your husband, is there any other reason that you wouldn't set an appointment to meet with me? No, Shon, that's the only reason. Let me just talk with him and I'll give you a call back. Again, they're never going to call you back. So now you can handle the objection. Well, let me ask, if it's okay with your husband to meet with me, is it okay with you? I love this question. They're the good guy, right? Their husband's the bad guy. So what is the answer to that question every time? Yes. So if it's okay with your husband to meet with me, is it okay with you? Well, of course it is. Let me just talk with him. I'll call you back. We'll set it up. That's fantastic. Well, let's do this. Let's simply pencil in a time that you think is going to work for you, your husband, and I to get together. What I'll do is I'll call you this evening to confirm the appointment. If it works, fantastic. If it doesn't, we'll just simply reschedule the appointment. So tell me, when do you think is the best time for you, your husband, and I to get together? Is it mornings or afternoons? Step number 4, when handling objections, ask again. Ask again. Acknowledge, isolate, handle, ask again. Simple process. Yet if you want to know the proven best practices, the strategy to overcoming objections, I think, and Day, you might want to unmute and chime in, and you're welcome to, you don't have to. I think we have a free download on iconcoaching.com that has all the 9 common buyer objections. Maybe we don't, but Dave, if we do, let them know. If not, then who knows? Just maybe you could email me and I'll send them to you guys. Okay. So after we handle the objection, ask again. We've set this appointment. Now it's time to qualify the appointment. You say, Shon, why wouldn't you qualify right up front? I think because if you qualify too early, you're going to get a script that they've used in the past to eliminate you as a real estate agent. I truly believe that until you have demonstrated your value and proven to them that you can get them from A to Z, I think they're going to come up with BS excuses not to meet with you. Like so many times in a role play situation, let me go deeper. I'll say, okay, we're going to role play a follow-up call. Let's do that real quick. And the agent says, okay, I'll be the realtor. You be the buyer. I say, fantastic. They say, whatever script they use to lead in. And they say, let me ask, are you working with an agent? And they ask that almost their very first question. Guys, they have scripts just like you have scripts. You understand this, right? They know how to get rid of you, and they don't want every realtor in your market area following up with them. In fact, I never asked an agent, are you working with an agent? Why? Well, quite frankly, I don't give a shit. I really don't. If you're working with an agent, that's great. What I do want to know is you have a signed contractual relationship with that agent. That's what I want to know. NAR will tell you that the average buyer talks to 12 agents before they actually buy a house. So let me ask, are they working with agents? Of course they are. Yet we fool ourselves and say we're not. Now, there are really 3 areas to qualify every prospect. Okay. The first box we can already check. That first box is the needs of the prospect. We must qualify their needs. Meaning, does that property exist? Does it exist? Now, the reason I say we can check that box is because you've already, in this methodology, done a live MLS search with them and for them, and you know that there are 9 listings that match their criteria. So check that box, you're done. The second area is motivation. Motivation. Now, you can ask whatever question you choose to establish motivation. There are 4 I'm going to recommend to you that are part of the 7-step formula. Number 1, do you need to sell your existing house before you purchase your next home? Now, sidebar comment. When talking with a potential seller, I'm going to encourage you guys to use the word house. When you're talking with a potential buyer, I want you to use the word home. Now, you understand the reasons why. I'll say it real quick. House is plastic. We want the seller to emotionally detach from the property and sell it. Home, on the other hand, is more heart-driven. We want the buyer to embrace the home. Okay. House allows them to detach. Home allows them to attach. So that's step number 1, or question number 1. Do you need to sell your existing house before you purchase your next home? If the answer is yes, you're going to take this conversation in a totally different direction. You're going to set a listing appointment. Okay. If the answer is no, you're going to go on to the next question. So tell me, how soon would you like to be in your new home? You say, well, maybe in the next 6 months. Fantastic. Tell me, on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being an immediate desire to buy a home, and 1 means you're just curious, how would you rate yourself? Oh, Shon, I'd say we're a 7. 7, that's fantastic. Tell me, what needs to happen for you to become a 10? Well, I just need to get my financing in order and find the right house. Is this a buyer you want to work with? Hell yes, it is. So, nevertheless, you've already set the appointment. In the qualifying phase, if you hear something you don't like, you can always back out of this appointment gracefully, easily. Yet I'd say set the appointment before you qualify. I know it's different than most trainers will tell you, yet seat of the pants experience, closing over 100 buyer side transactions a year personally, I will tell you that this methodology, it absolutely works. So qualification, the motivation is step number 1 in terms of qualification. Next, it's financial. Now, I never asked a buyer, are you pre-qualified? Are you pre-approved? So, Shon, well, why wouldn't you ask that? Again, because I don't give a shit. I really don't care if you're pre-approved, if you're pre-qualified. I don't care. Because the paper that's printed on, it's not even worth the cost of the paper. You understand this, right? Guys, don't be like me and learn the lesson through brain damage. Here's what happened. Earlier in my career, get a call from a motivated buyer. They're pre-approved. They send me over the pre-approval letter. I take it at its face value. I took them out the first weekend. I showed them like 15 homes. several hours, none of which worked. Took him out the next weekend. Man, I'm going to find this home. Showed him another 10 homes, none of which worked. Took him out third weekend. Showed him 3 homes. All of them worked, and they narrowed it down to the one that they wanted to buy, wrote, negotiated the contract, scheduled the inspection, attended the home inspection, and then a couple of days later heard from the lender that they, in fact, can't qualify. As I wasted 3 weekends, negotiated a contract, attended a home inspection. Now, where do you want to spend your time? Okay, so I don't care if you're pre-approved or pre-qualified. There's 3 steps, 3 simple steps. I want you to write these down. Okay, step number 1. Are you paying cash or do you need financing? Simple as that. Alternative choice. Are you paying cash or do you need financing? They might say, oh, Shon, I wish I could pay cash. I'm going to need a loan. That's okay. Or they might say, you know, I'm already pre-approved through my local credit union or Wells Fargo, or worse, Rocket Mortgage or Quicken Loans or whatever, right? I don't care. I really don't. Step number 2 is the same if they need financing, okay? Would it be okay with you if I help you save money on your mortgage? Would it be okay with you if I help you save money on your mortgage? Guys, that is always a yes. Think about this. You do this every day of your life. These people buy a home on average once every 7 to 10 years. They don't study mortgage rates. They have no idea what mortgage rates are usually. So with that said, are you paying cash or do you need financing? Oh, Shon, I'm already pre-approved through my local credit union. I think that's fantastic. Good for you. Let me quickly ask, would it be okay with you if I help you save money on your mortgage? Well, you could do that? Well, absolutely. It'd be my pleasure. In fact, let's do this. And we're going to go back to the ABC methodology, okay? Remember that stands for action, benefit, commitment. So let's do this. I'd like to get your permission to have my lender give you a call. That's the action. Benefit. Now, this lender consistently beats other lenders in our market area, both in closing costs and interest rates. And let's face it, even a 1/8% difference in your interest rate on a 30-year mortgage could cost you tens of thousands of dollars. So tell me, when's the best time for my lender to give you a call? Is it weekdays, weekends, or in the next 15 minutes? Now, guys, whether or not they use my lender, that is immaterial. I don't care. What I do care about is that my lender, the person that I know, that I like, that I trust, who has a proven track record, gives me the thumbs up that says this person can qualify. You guys with me on this? So with that said, once they give you the thumbs up, fantastic. We're done. You've already got your appointment scheduled. Just 2 other questions, and then you're on to the initial counseling session portion of your relationship. Those 2 questions are really quite simple. The first is, I assume that because you contacted me directly, or however they reached out to you, I assume that because you came to me through my website and an inquiry, I assume that because you went to the open house and I met you there last weekend, I assume that because you called me directly, that you're not contractually obligated to purchase your home through another agent. Is that correct? Again, I don't care if you're working with an agent. Shame on that agent if they didn't get a signed buyer agency contract, because you're free game, in my opinion. The other agent should have done their job and treat this like a real business and gotten a signed buyer agency contract, because you know what? I'm going to steal the business every chance I can. Call me a jerk. I don't agency contract. And you don't have to worry about it. I trust you're with me on that. All right. So last question, and then you're done. Okay. By the way, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, is there anything I should have asked you that I didn't that would better help me understand your situation? Confirm the appointment details, and you're done. You're done. Then it's on to the initial counseling. We're going to talk through one of my favorite topics, okay? The 20-point buyer presentation. Now, I have several goals for this portion of our time together. Number 1, I want to just teach you how to build rapport and gain loyalty right off the bat. Then I'm going to show you how to teach your clients the rules of the game, in essence, and manage the appropriate expectations. Then we're going to eliminate what I call the intimidation factor. I don't know if you've ever experienced this phenomenon like I had early in my career. I remember the first time I was across the conference room table from $1 million+ buyer. Guys, I got to be honest. I was terrified. I was trembling, nervous. I could sense that my heart rate was up, my blood pressure was up, my cheeks were red. I was nervous. Now that stemmed from the fact that I didn't know what I was going to say. I didn't know how I was going to say it. In fact, I entered that meeting with the mindset of, I wonder what's going to come out of my mouth today, and man, I hope it's good. See, when you're not confident in what you're going to do or what you're going to say, that shows up, guys. And it shows up in the form of incompetency, lack of confidence. This is the largest transaction of their lifetime in most cases. They're looking for confident people to work with. I trust you're with me on this. All right, so beyond that, we're going to inspire referrals, and we're going to get them. We're going to show fewer properties to every buyer we work with, and most importantly, we're going to get the buyer agency contract signed every single time we want it signed, okay? Your at-bat ratio, you should be batting 1,000%, okay? Batting 1,000, I should say. Okay, quick fundamental question. Objections, challenges, when should you handle them? Now, many of you are saying, well, immediately, Shon, don't waste time, just jump on it, handle it with the 4 steps that you talked about. And while that's good and fine, I want you to look at it through a different lens, okay? Change your mindset. In fact, you've heard it said before, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change, no doubt about that. What if you handled the objections and challenges before they became objections and challenges? Think about that. Where do you want to spend your time? I'm going to digress. I'm going to share a quick story with you. Some of you might have heard this if you've attended some of my training in the past. I don't tell it very often, yet if you've heard it before, I don't care. Now, I don't care because I don't care if you've heard it before. My question is, did you get it? Okay. Did you get it? Now, many of you can relate to my next statement. My wife came to me one day and said, honey, you haven't taken a day off from work in almost a year. And it was true. I mean, I was young. I was committed to my career. I was working every single day, seriously, 78 hours a week, no doubt. I'm grateful I did it. Yet at the same time, I knew why my wife's coming to me and having this talk. It was because her birthday is coming up the next Sunday. And so I said, honey, I get it. I understand why you're asking. I know your birthday's on Sunday. And yes, I'm taking the entire day off and part of Monday as well. Here's my plan. It was a surprise, but I'll let you in. We're going to drive up to Aspen. I've got a room booked at the Ritz-Carlton. So we're going to drive up. We'll sleep in on Sunday on your birthday. We'll drive up. We'll grab brunch together. We lived in Denver at the time. We'll stay at the Ritz-Carlton, have a great night, sleep in the next morning, maybe tool around town a little bit, drive home that afternoon. So that was the plan. We're all excited. I go to everybody in my office. Do not call me. Do not bother me. Do not. And back in those days, you guys would get a kick out of this. Do not page me. I had a pager on my hip nonstop. Yet everybody agreed. I'm taking the day off. It's my wife's birthday, right? So here comes Sunday morning. Her and I are sleeping in. The phone rings at about 9 o'clock in the morning. Before the days of caller ID, believe it or not. Yet I answer the phone thinking it's one of her friends, her family members calling to wish my wife a happy birthday. So I answer it, right? Guess who it is? That's right. It's the weekend call coordinator at our office. His name was Zach. Now, Zach said, hey, Shon, I just took the most motivated call from a buyer prospect that I've ever taken in my life. I understand you're trying to take the day off. I said, yeah, Zach, why are you calling me? I said, do not bother me to everyone except for you. Why are you calling me? I said, Shon, all the other agents are busy and these people are sincerely motivated. In fact, they're calling on this listing, gave me the property address. It was a brand new listing. Now, this was an $800,000 listing. And back in those days, guys, that's like a $3.5 million sale. No joke. Our average sales price at the time was maybe around $135,000. Okay. So to get an up call on an $800,000 property from a sincerely motivated buyer was kind of a big deal. And I think you guys might agree. So I said, Zach, here, let me take their name, their phone number. I'll call them, explain my circumstance, and tell them that I'll show it to them tomorrow evening. He said, okay. So he gave me the name, number. I called him. And here's how the call went, guys, because sure enough, they were motivated. I said, hi, this is Shon Kokoszka. I could barely get my name out of my mouth. And they're like, oh, Shon, thank We're going to buy this property. We're in love with this property. We just need to see the inside of it. Can you please, please, please show it to us today, this morning at 10 o'clock? So what would you do? I'm curious, what would you do? I'll tell you what I did. I set the appointment for 10 o'clock. Then I turned to my wife and we had that talk. And if you've been doing this long enough, you know the talk that I'm talking about, right? It went something like this. Honey, I'm jumping in the shower right now. I'll leave the house by 9:30. It's a 30-minute drive over to this property. I'm going to show the property. It'll take all 15 minutes to show it, 15 minutes to write the contract, get their signatures, drive home, half-hour drive home, right? I'm going to be home by 11 o'clock. We'll head up to Aspen. And we're going to enjoy your birthday. And by the way, you know how much money we're going to make, honey? And of course, she's very supportive and she agreed. And so I did just that. I jump in the shower. I leave at 9:30. I pull up right at 10 o'clock on the nose. I get out of the car. They're not there. And I get out of the car. I go and unlock the house. I'm turning on the lights. And, it's 10:10. They're still not there. I'm starting to get a little worried. It's 10:12, 10:14. Thinking, thank God they showed up. They did, because I was only going to wait around like another 2 or 3 hours. Then I was cutting them off. Of course, I'm kidding, but they did show up. And have you ever had the perfect showing? And I mean the perfect showing, guys, where it's like left hand, left glove, perfect size, perfect fit. Everything was perfect. The foyer was a 10 on a scale from 1 to 10. The kitchen was a 12 on a scale from 1 to 10, right? You get the point. This was their house. We ended up spending an hour and a half inside the home. See, I was that agent that believed my life didn't matter. Yours mattered, right? And it's part of the reason I was successful. It was also part of the reason I was miserable. And many of you can relate. I know you can. So anyway, they're asking me questions. I'm giving them short, direct answers. I'm trying to get them out of the house. So I finally get them into the foyer. I open up the front door, get them out the front door, finally shut the door, lock the house, put the lockbox back together. We're walking down the driveway. And I said, you guys like this home, don't you? And they said, oh yeah, definitely. I said, you want this home, right? He said, yes. I said, well, why don't you buy it? Well, he looks at her and he looks at me, or she looks at him. He looks at her. He looks back at me, however it all happened. But he looked at me and he said this. He said, okay, Shon, we'll have our agent give you a call. And guys, I still am pissed about it today. Yet whose fault was it? It was my fault. 1,000% my fault. It was nobody else's fault. I let their motivation overshadow my better judgment to actually qualify this appointment. I was that agent who just ran out the door and I'm going to show you any property. And it ruined my wife's birthday. I mean, think about it. I had a half-hour drive home after that. And yes, we sold the listing to them, but I didn't get paid. I was a buyer agent on a team. How do you think my 30-minute drive home went? Think I beat myself up just a little bit? Absolutely. Yet this was the catalyst to what you're about to learn in the 20-point buyer presentation. I made a decision right then and there that I was going to treat this like a real business. Some of you are right there with me. You're ready to take that leap, or maybe you've already taken it. You're looking for ways to refine what you're doing to improve your efficiencies, to wring it out, to get an extra 5 deals a year, 10 deals a year, whatever it is that you want. This will help you get there. Guaranteed. All right. So this was the catalyst to the 20-point buyer presentation. All right. It was born out of a different mindset. See, I was in the mindset of fix, 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 fix. Let me explain. Something to go wrong, I'd fix it. Something else would go wrong, I'd fix it. I felt like a firefighter most days. Can you relate? See, I was fixing things. Fix, 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 fix. Then I changed my mindset. And here's what I want you to do. It's about fixing it once and then preventing it from ever happening again. So again, it's no longer about fix, fix, fix. It's about fix, prevent, prevent, prevent. And that is how the 20-point buyer presentation was created. Every time I lost a commission, every time I got burned, every time I was frustrated and pissed off, I recognized it wasn't me. It wasn't them. It was simply the lack of a system. I said, what can I do? What can we do to make sure that that situation never happens again? This is how great businesses and systems are built. So let's dive in. And I truly want you to think about this question. Where do you want to spend your time? See, I'd much rather spend my time with my family, with my children, with my wife, than schlepping some buyer around that's not going to end up in a commission check. All right. So we're on the same page, I believe. So let's talk about how did this actually start? By the way, this was an experiment that almost failed. See, I was not proficient at closing for in-office appointments. I hadn't developed or created the ABC methodology yet. I was asking questions like, well, would you like to get together at my office? They'd say things like, no. Or let me talk with my wife and I'll call you back. Okay, be sure to ask for me. My name's Shon, right? I was the typical agent. I hadn't really practiced or refined my skills. And I'm going to encourage you guys to do the same thing. Okay? To practice, refine your skills, know what to say, know how to say it, then say it to enough people, and you're guaranteed to be successful in real estate sales. So in my system, they set an appointment to come to the office. Zoom didn't exist back in those days. Today, I would just do it on Zoom. I literally would. No drive time, get it done in 20 minutes, signed by your agency contract, done and done. And when they came to the office, call coordinator would hand them a clipboard, just like in the doctor's office, right? On the clipboard was the new buyer survey, told us where they came from, and it asked every qualifying question that needs to be asked. Additionally, it has the magic question on page number 3. It helps you identify their dominant behavior style. I won't get into it. I don't have time today. It is covered in Accelerated Breakthrough, though. Next is the loyalty agreement. This is a one-page buyer agency contract. Basically, it says all the great things about buyer agency, none of the scary stuff yet. You sign it, the prospect signs it. You're not under contract with them yet, but it warms them up. I hope this makes sense. Then finally, are you an A, B, or C buyer? This was the last document on the clipboard. In the center section of this document, it outlines the definition of an A buyer, the definition of a B buyer and C buyer. Then at the bottom, it says, I've read the above and believe I'm at A, B, or C buyer. So in terms of qualifying, their motivation, guys, it really doesn't get much easier than this. Call coordinator would take the completed documents back to me in my office. I would review them before I ever met them face to face. Call coordinator would also hand them a leather-bound snack and drink menu. They would place their order with the call coordinator. They'd go to the kitchen, assemble their snacks, their drinks, have them staged in the conference room, bring them back to the conference room, and that's where I could meet them. So let's paint the picture. They're given a buyer workbook. This is the cover of the buyer workbook. We're buying a home, big affirmation, right? Then it's fill in the blanks inside their workbook. So you can imagine they have this physical workbook, open it up, fill in the blank. 2 pages of fill in the blanks, 2 pages of taking notes on the homes that you see, a PI calculator so they can calculate their own mortgage payment. You teach them how to do that. The easiest way to build trust and gain rapport with people, teach them something. So by giving them this, you're teaching them something, you're building rapport. Okay. Then finally, the last page is just all the dates and deadlines of their buy-sell agreement. So we left this blank until they went under contract. The under contracts manager for buyers would contact them, help them complete this document, educate them, and it eliminated a lot of stress and a lot of unnecessary phone calls coming to the office once they're under contract. So that's the workbook. And here's the PowerPoint presentation that they would see when they came into the conference room. You can do this on a laptop, a tablet, or we had a plasma screen back in those days. It was called a plasma up on the wall, and just a flat screen. And I had a little remote clicker. It looked exactly like this one. And I could just click to advance the slides of the deck. I would explain to them every time a word would fly in on my screen that was their cue to fill in the blank. So you can see the first word they're going to fill in is the word consultant. So let me go back to page 1 of their workbook and you can get a sense of what this looks like. Salesperson versus blank. They fill in the word consultant, right? Next one they're going to fill in is buyer's market versus seller's market. So they're going to fill in the blanks. Now guys, by getting them to fill in the blanks, they're staying engaged. See, when I first started doing this, I spewed information all over them and I could tell that it was going in one ear and out the other. It wasn't sticking. They look like deer in the headlights, right? So by getting them to fill in the blanks, it engaged them in the process. They remember more of what they write down, and it makes the presentation go smoother and faster. I trust you're with me. All right. So these are the blanks they're filling in. Now I'm going to share with them a little bit about what's going on in the market. Okay. Now, most agents fail to set expectations with their buyer prospects, and they end up accusing their buyers of being liars. Well, I think it's the agent's fault. I really do. They're not qualifying their buyers. They're not educating their buyers. So therefore, they accuse the buyers of being liars. Rather, when you take control of this, when you handle objections and challenges before they become objections and challenges, everything becomes easier and a lot of things become unnecessary, right? So let's go back to the typical agent though. They're going to take the buyer out. Maybe it's a difficult buyer. They take them out 3 weekends in a row. They end up showing them 30 houses. They narrow it down to the one that the buyer wants to buy. And what kind of an offer does the buyer generally want to make? Think about it. Well, you already know it's a low ball offer that's not going to be accepted. You guys don't need practice writing contracts. What you do want to do is you want to write contracts that stick, that actually get accepted, right? So it starts with education. So the average list price to sales price ratio, whatever it is in your market area, you just change the number. Let's say it's 99.2%. What's your average sales price? Let's say it's 425. Let's do the math with them and for them. And all the while they're filling in the blanks in their workbook, right? So if the average list price to sales price ratio is 99.2%, average sales price 425, the average seller is coming down to about 421,600. So about $3,400 is your negotiating range on average. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, the reason I share this information with you right now is that, quite frankly, I would rather turn you down now than disappoint you later if you think you could offer 10, 15, 20,000 less than the request price and actually expect to buy that home. So very direct question for you. If I found you a home at 425,000 and the seller is only willing to come down to around 421, is that going to be okay with you? Say yes. Now, guys, what did I just do? Did I not just maybe set an expectation of what's going on in the marketplace? Do you think this buyer, after understanding this, might make a more realistic initial offer? I believe that they will. So now we'll get into economic 101. Okay, so listing inventory is down right now, 36% from the same time last year. And when inventory is down, what happens to demand, generally speaking? That's right, it goes up. And when demand goes up, what happens to prices? Also goes up, right? Now, obviously, you can modify this to a buyer's market. You can change this with the presentation. By the way, those of you who are smart enough to engage in Accelerated Breakthrough, you get all the digital assets associated with this presentation, my listing presentation, and access to our entire members library. So anyway, if this is something you want, we can talk about how you can get it, okay? Next step in the process is becoming pre-approved for your financing. I know you've already spoken with my lender. They've offered up your pre-approval, and we've got the letter right here. Now, that's how it worked 99.9% of the time. There was a rare occasion, though, that I'd take a call Friday evening at, say, 7 p.m., set an appointment for Saturday morning at 10, and the lender didn't have a chance to talk to them before I had to meet them. So in those cases, I would either have the lender on call, and when we got to this slide in my presentation, I'd put the lender on speakerphone. They would take the 1003 over the phone, pull credit report, and issue a pre-approval letter. Or if they can't qualify, let me know and we'll work on a plan to get them to a position they can qualify. I'm still going to finish the presentation because once you can qualify, I want you to come back to me. I trust that makes sense. All right. Next, as we talk about pre-approval, I want to talk to you first about the benefits to you as the buyer in getting your pre-approval in place. In fact, I'm going to encourage you to get your DU approval. It stands for Desktop Underwritten Approval, which means they've approved you and your credit. All they have to do is approve the property with an appraisal. So let's talk about the benefits. And I want to put you in the seller's shoes just for a moment, okay? Now let's just say that you just got a call from your employer and you're being relocated to Los Angeles, California. You have to be there in 3 weeks. So the first thing you do is you call your real estate agent. You say, listen, I need to sell this house. I need to sell it fast. So you list it below fair market value for a quick sale. First day on the market, let's say you get 2 offers, okay? One is all cash, $5,000 less than your request price, yet they can close in your time frame within 3 weeks, okay? It's a sure deal. The next offer, now they heard about the first offer, they really want your house, offered you $5,000 more than your request price, yet they need financing. They haven't been to see a lender. Heck, even their real estate agent doesn't know for sure if they can qualify or not. Now, understanding you as the seller, you're under time pressure. Which offer are you going to take? The sure deal for cash? Or are you going to take a chance, hope and pray that these people can qualify for their mortgage? Probably the sure deal for cash. Am I right? So getting that desktop underwritten approval, in essence, it turns you into a cash buyer. It saves you money, obviously, in the negotiations, and it gives you leverage in a multiple offer situation. Now, here's the best part. It gives you the confidence knowing that every home that I show you and your family, you have the financial ability to just, doesn't that feel good? All right, let's move on to the next step. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the benefits of engaging me as your agent, where I represent you and I negotiate on your behalf in the transaction, not the seller. So first, I want you to understand, 100% of my clients choose buyer agency. As I'd mentioned, the average list price to sales price ratio right now is 99.2%. I've tracked my average over the last 6 months. I'm 97.1%. So I'm saving you almost 2% just due to our negotiating skills. You know, Fortune 500 companies spend millions of dollars per year on the best negotiators. You know why? Because they're the best negotiators. I want you to know 70% of my time is spent working with buyers. I'm able to see over 200 homes a month. Frankly, I know the market better than anybody. And with our buyer instant notification system, nothing is going to slip through the cracks. As soon as that perfect home comes to the market, you're going to be one of the first people to know about it, the first to look at it, and the first to buy it. And that is what you want, right? Of course. Now, here's the best part about buyer agency. I can answer you in a paragraph instead of a sentence. Let me tell you what I mean by that. As your agent, it is my job contractually to dig up all the information about the seller that I possibly can. Is it a divorce, a relocation? Is it a distress sale, pre-foreclosure? What does that look like? And I know you'll agree with the statement, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, that information is power in negotiations. Would you agree with me? Say yes. So let's do the right thing. Engage me as your agent. Give me the tool I need to legally and ethically negotiate on your behalf and get you the best deal, which is what I want. It's what you want. Before we do that, though, let's talk a little bit about how I get paid. Okay. So all of my fees are negotiated in the contract. Okay. Quite frankly, some sellers are willing to pay all of my commission. Some sellers are willing to pay a portion of my commission. Heck, there are some sellers out there, believe it or not, that aren't willing to pay a buyer agent anything. And if that is the case, well, then you and I will negotiate the best deal to make sure that you have representation, and we'll negotiate on your behalf to get you the best deal. Fair enough? All right. So all brokers have access to the same information, and the biggest difference in agents and brokerages, well, it's the speed in which they can get it to you. As I mentioned, 70% of my time is spent working with buyers. I'm able to see over 200 homes a month. I know the market better than anyone. When that perfect home comes on the market, you're going to be the first to know about it. All right, let's talk about what happens if you happen to see a for sale by owner. Maybe it's a sign in somebody's yard. Maybe it's an ad on FSBO.com or Zillow or Craigslist. I need you to call me first. You say, well, Shon, why would I do that? Well, for sale by owners will also pay my commission in most cases. Either they pay an attorney or a real estate professional. Yet attorneys, they charge by the what? Ah, that's right, by the hour. Go ahead and fill in your blank, right? They charge by the hour. Let me tell you a story about the Jones family. Now, this is years ago. They thought they were doing the right thing. Before they met me, they were out driving through a neighborhood. They saw a sign that said for sale by owner and a phone number with a Sharpie written the phone number on the sign. They called the number. They set an appointment. They went into the house. They fell in love with the house. Now, because this is the largest transaction of their life, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, they ended up engaging a real estate attorney to draft and negotiate the contract, make sure all I's are dotted, T's are crossed. Everything's going perfectly. Got the deal under contract. The first step after you go under contract is to complete a home inspection. During the inspection, they found significant foundation damage. Seller was unwilling to pay for the repairs, and the buyer was forced to terminate the contract. And while they got their earnest money back, they did get an attorney's bill for $6,000 that they had to pay. It set them back. They had to save up some more money for cash down payment, closing costs, and things like that. So I'm commission based, which means the only time I get paid is when you own the home that you want to buy. So when you see a for sale by owner, I want you to call me first. Can you do that for me? Do we have a deal? So again, all I'm doing, you guys, is setting and managing the appropriate expectations. That's it. And by the way, if you have not had a buyer who's not under agency agreement with you go behind your back to buy a for sale by owner yet, you have not been doing this long enough. That's what I'll say. You just haven't been doing it long enough. It will happen if you're not careful. If I be getting an agency agreement in place, it won't happen anymore. You certainly wouldn't go out and put somebody's house in MLS and pay for photography and create brochures and host open houses on a listing that you don't have a signed listing contract on. Why are you doing that for buyers? Why are you schlepping them around? Oh, Shon, it's only my time. Are you freaking kidding me? It's only your time? Time is the only inventory you have in this business. And how you choose to invest it sets your trajectory and your level of income and ultimately your net worth and ability to retire. So guys, take it seriously. Now let's talk about new home construction. By the way, have you ever had a buyer walk into a new home sales office without you and sign in and tour the model home, and then the builder doesn't want to pay your commission? Again, either you don't have new construction in your area or you haven't been doing it long enough. Okay. So to curb that, here's what I did. Let them know the buyer pays my commissions. I would get them a stack of open house guest passes. Okay. Now, guest passes are business card size. It looks like this. On the front, it says open house guest pass. On the back, it says I'm exclusively represented by the Kokoszka Group. Any questions? Direct them to Shon. Simple as that. So they would hand that to the on-site salesperson. When they use this, they'll call me and not you. Benefit to you is professional representation. Remember, that on-site sales agent or the realtor holding an open house, well, guess what, guys? They represent the seller in the negotiations and not you. Not you. And Rob, I do know that time is up. Stick with me just for a couple of extra minutes, guys. Here we go. Average buyer that I work with looks at 5 homes before finding the right one. Might be fewer than you expected, yet remember I get to see over 200 homes per month. Chances are I've already seen the inside of the home that you want to buy. So most important key to finding your right home quickly, though, it's your feedback. By the way, one of the ways I'll know if you're interested in buying any one of the homes that I show you today is I'm simply going to ask you at the end of the showing if you'd like to buy it. Would that be okay with you? Oh, by the way, if I forget, will you remind me? So you show them a house. You're done with showing. It's natural now. It's comfortable. You just say, so what do you think? Do you guys want to buy it? Now, by the way, walk into a home you know they love, you know that they want to buy. Don't ask. And the buyer will actually ask you to ask them to buy the house. Gotta love that. Almost done, guys. I'd give them a blank copy of the contract, go through the 4 major contingencies so they can move quickly when they find the right home. Educate them on earnest money, what's going to happen there. Inspection is for major items only. Again, we've all had deals blow up over stupid inspection items. By setting the expectation, you're going to keep your deals together. Appraisal, cost is paid for by the buyer. You won't overpay. Loan approval is the next step, a reason to celebrate what happens at closing. Now you get to brag on your team a little bit. You're always working with a specialist. The benefits are knowledge, availability, communication. As this is the traditional realtor model, where the realtor is the center of the universe, juggling far too many balls. If they drop one and go to pick it up, all the others are going to fall. So created a new model. We take you, our client, make you the center of our universe, and we've surrounded you with a team of specialists to get you to the closing table with the best price, the fewest hassles, and the time frame in which you desire. Once I'm successful at that, I'm going to ask you, who do you know that's looking to buy a home, sell a house, or invest in real estate? And do you know anybody right now who's thinking about listing their house for sale or buying a home or investing in real estate that I should call today? But when you think of somebody, will you call me? Awesome. Okay. Next, we'll talk about added value. All right, what do you do that's over and beyond what the traditional agent does? Seriously, what is that? Come up with your list. This is your unique value proposition. This makes you different than every other agent in your market area. The people who do most of the business have just simply refined and improved the way that they sell themselves. Okay. All right. So goals of the 20-point buyer presentation, guys. Set and manage the appropriate expectations. Handle objections. When? Oh, yeah, that's right. Before they become objections. build rapport, gain loyalty, teach them the rules of the game, inspire referrals, show fewer properties, and get the agency contract signed every time. What I'd encourage you to do, guys, is to either invest in the 20-point buyer presentation, maybe invest in accelerated breakthrough. Implement a system. Now, a system is a standardized process that produces a consistent and predictable result. If you want to learn more about icon coaching, guys, if maybe you want a little help without any judgment, anything whatsoever, other than just kindness, caring, love to get you to the next phase of your business growth and make you a heck of a lot more money, I'm going to ask you to take your cell phone out right now. I want you to scan this QR code. It's going to bring you to the product offerings here at Icon Coaching. Additionally, I'd encourage you to go to iconcoaching.com. Download our free assets there, you guys. There's the lead conversion, there's open house strategy, there's for sale by owner and expired scripts. There's all kinds of things on the website. I'd encourage you to do this. By the way, we're doing one webinar a week now. So I'd encourage you, again, go to iconcoaching.com. Pay attention to the events that we're doing. What we want to do is just strengthen your foundation by improving your knowledge, your skills, your mindset, and your habits. Because your business, your production, your net income, and your net worth, guys, it grows to the extent that you personally grow. So if you're ready to stretch your mind, recognizing once it's stretched, it never goes back to its original form, scan this QR code, check out the products that we have to offer, and engage at one level or another. I'd mentioned accelerated breakthrough. Rob's got his listing machine program. We've got results-driven coaching where you don't pay for coaching unless you produce. See, that's a challenge with traditional coaching. You have to write that check every single month, whether you produce or not at Icon. You don't pay for coaching unless you produce in a capped model. If you want to learn about it, here, I'm going to do this. Rob, don't kill me. I'm going to put my cell phone into the chat, and I want you to text me if you maybe want some help. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. And Rob, if you could answer or read them to me, that'd be great.
Don't see any at this time, Shon. We're good.
Perfect. And I've gone over on time. So I just put my email address and my direct cell phone number right in the chat. Guys, if you maybe want some help, just reach out to me. We'll just have a free call, no strings attached, no obligation, no expectation. I will definitely help you get to the next phase of your growth trajectory. And I look forward to the next time we get to do this. Thanks for hearing me. Thanks for your focus, your time, energy, and attention. Until we do this again, guys, just be on purpose with your business. Be productive and always be powerful.
Shon, right before you leave, somebody asked the question, how can they get the code? They're on their phone.
I can't scan. How can I get the code? Let's see. I think I can post that to.
Hi guys. I just put all the links on the chat as well, so that they can grab it from there. And I'll also send an email to everyone.
And they'll get the recording. They'll get the recording of this tomorrow, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Everybody will get a recording.
Yeah, and by the way, pay attention to the Icon Coaching website, guys. We're launching the sales surge tour. We're starting on the East Coast, so we're hitting Tampa, Orlando, Atlanta, Boston, New York, New Jersey, and we're going to go beyond that. So if maybe you want a presentation in your state and you want to participate in that, feel free to reach out to me. You've got my email, you got my cell phone number. But if you happen to be in any one of those 6 cities that I mentioned, guys, go to iconcoaching.com. We're going to be in that city live and in person. I want you to go and attend and learn, because your business is going to grow to the extent that you personally grow. And I'd love to meet you face to face, and just reach out, guys. We're here to help. We're here to support. Thank you so much. Talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.